push it into the oven. Then attach the chain to the drive chain shaft. Pull the conveyor toward you so the bar locks on the outside of the oven wall. Reinstall the drive sprocket shield. Never operate the oven without the guard. The Impinger 1600 series Advantage oven conveyor should not, in most cases, need any adjustment. But if the belt becomes too loose, consult the Installation Operating Instructions Manual or call your service agency to adjust it. Rinse the end baffles. Dry thoroughly and reposition each over the oven cavity opening. Next, slide the crumb pans into the rails under the conveyor. Spray the stand frame and casters with non-caustic degreaser and allow to sit. Rinse with clear water and wipe dry. Be sure to clean up any overspray on the floor. Let's review our weekly cleaning jobs. We disassembled and cleaned the conveyor belt, air return baffles, end baffles, and the fingers. Then we cleaned the inside and outside of the oven, including the air intake vents and louvers, and the stand. Then we reinstalled the fingers, air return baffles, end baffles, and the conveyor belt. To make the Impinger weekly cleaning tasks easier, there are spray-on soil shields available. These soil shield products are applied on finger covers, the backside of the oven door, and the inside oven cavity. After application, the soil shield product should be dry to the touch before baking food in the Impinger oven. Then, when you perform your next weekly cleaning tasks, the accumulated grease and debris rinse off with warm water. A new application is then applied, and the cleaning cycle is continued. Consult your chemical or janitorial distributor for the names and availabilities of these products. Every 3 months, you should be sure the sprockets on the conveyor shafts are aligned properly by checking to see if they're between the links, not on them, and not bunched together. Reposition and tighten the sprockets as needed. Periodically look over the oven to see if any switches, lights, dials, or hinges are damaged or broken. Your new Impinger is equipped with 3 diagnostic messages to help you troubleshoot a specific problem yourself, or at least help you narrow it down. The messages you might encounter on the digital display are 1. LP, left probe fail, or RP, right probe fail. This occurs when there's no temperature being sent to the controller from the baking chamber. This generally means a malfunctioning or failed thermoprobe. 2. Shorted probe. This occurs when a constant temperature signal is being sent to the controller from the baking chamber. This will happen if there is no heat being supplied to the oven for some reason. This can occur if the gas valve is shut off or disconnected. 3. Belt jam. This will occur when there is a conveyor motor failure. These messages should be noted and communicated when calling your Lincoln authorized service agent. Now, let's talk about what to do if your Impinger oven seems to be malfunctioning, but there are no diagnostic messages displayed. Before you make a service call, there are a few things you should check out. We'll look at troubleshooting in terms of the symptom you observe and what might be causing it. You go to turn on the oven at the beginning of the workday, and it did not respond by heating up. Always suspect the easy stuff first. Is the oven plugged in tightly? Check the temperature indicator light. Does it show that the oven is heating? If not, see if the temperature is set to the right temperature. If the thermostat is set right, see if the main fan is working by checking for air movement. If there is no air movement, the fan isn't working, so check the main circuit breaker and the main fan fuses on the oven. If you find a bad fuse, replace it. If the fuses are okay and you have an electric oven, there's nothing more you can do. Your authorized Lincoln service agent must be contacted. If the fuses are okay and your oven is gas-fired, be sure the main shutoff valve is open. Check for kinks in the gas hose and make sure the gas connector is firmly locked into its receptacle. Beyond this, there's nothing more you can do. Your authorized Lincoln service agency must be contacted. Burnt products result from too high a temperature, too long a cooking time, or improperly installed columnating panels. First, see if all the fingers are installed properly. Then check the temperature set point. If the temperature is set properly, but the products are overcooked, the oven could be out of calibration. If the timer shows it's set properly, time it against a stopwatch. Start the stopwatch when the leading edge of the pan enters the oven. Stop the watch when the leading edge exits the oven. If the conveyor speed mechanism needs recalibration, your authorized Lincoln service agency must be contacted. In the meantime, you can try to compensate by adjusting the conveyor speed up or down until help arrives. Undercooked products can result from several things. First, be sure you're not placing the food product too far into the oven cavity. The leading edge should be just at the conveyor opening. And don't pull the product out of the oven too soon. Next, if the temperature is set properly but the products are undercooked, the oven could be out of calibration. If the conveyor speed shows it's set properly, time it against the stopwatch using the leading edge in to leading edge out method we used earlier. Again, if the time temperature mechanism needs calibration, your authorized Lincoln service representative should be contacted. And of course, you can compensate by adjusting the belt speed up or down until help arrives. If time and temperature aren't your problem, it could be the columnating panels were not installed properly. If you're still having a problem, see if the main fan is working by checking for air movement. If the fan isn't running, check the main circuit breaker and the main fan fuses. If you have a gas-fired oven, check to be sure the main shutoff valve is open. Check for kinks in the gas hose, and be sure that the gas connector is firmly locked to its receptacle. If you do all this and the oven is still not performing properly, it's time to call your authorized service agency. Another situation you might run into is a conveyor belt that won't move. If this happens, your display might show the diagnostic message, belt jam. This occurs when the conveyor motor fails, so you'll need to call your Lincoln authorized service agency. If this does not happen, check to see that the belt speed control was not accidentally turned all the way down. Check the drive sprocket chain to ensure they're connected properly. Take corrective action as needed. Next, check your main circuit breakers and fuses. If the conveyor stopped when the oven was hot, it could be overheating. Check and clean the ventilation louvers and cooling fan covers if needed. It could also be a mechanical malfunction. With the circuit breaker off, so the conveyor can't start accidentally, disconnect the drive sprocket chain. Then gently push and pull the conveyor to see that it moves freely. If it doesn't, look for some obstruction or binding. If the conveyor moves freely, then turn the circuit breaker back on. Turn the oven on, and check to see if the motor shaft is rotating. If the motor drive shaft won't turn, you'll have to call your authorized Lincoln service agency. Periodic cleaning and preventative maintenance will help to prevent malfunctions and extend the life of your Impinger oven. Today, most service agencies offer a reasonably priced preventative maintenance program. We recommend that you contact your authorized Lincoln service agency and ask for details. Please remember that when needed, consulting your operating manual and this videotape and using a few simple troubleshooting techniques can help save you a service call. When you need help, your authorized Lincoln service representative is available. We want you and your Lincoln Impinger oven to keep your guests content for years to come.